Hi, y'all. It's Bridget Cutshaw with Real Things Living. Today, my guest is Özlem Özkan. She lives in Amsterdam and she's an entrepreneur and she's traveled quite a bit throughout her life. And she recently wrote a book called The Student. Can you introduce yourself, Özlem?
Of course. Thanks so much for having me, Brigitte. I
Me.
hope I say your name right in
Did.
French. Yeah, I am Özlem Özkan, based in Amsterdam. Actually, I was born and raised in the Netherlands. I have Turkish parents, though. They came as guest workers in the 60s, 70s to the Netherlands. And so I grew up here and I grew up with two cultures, the Dutch and the Turkish, which actually created a lot of identity crisis while growing up. And I'm the author of the book The Student, which is published in October 2020. Yeah. And I make podcasts, bridging podcasts. I blog. I'm a teacher. I'm a coach. Uh, that's me. And I lived good to know. I lived in Istanbul, in Turkey for
Oh, wow.
5 years after I graduated. I lived in Denmark. I have more a teaching background. Also, my education was in teaching, but I also have worked in business development for a multinational Danish fashion company. And yeah, that's me.
You're busy. Yeah. You're kind of,
Busy. Yeah.
I
Busy.
like that. I like that you're open to trying new things. And I think it's because of your background. You had to move around a lot and being around different cultures, it opened you up to learning, all constantly learning. That's what it sounds like that you're doing is, and it's helping you understand how to help others, right?
Yeah.
In the perspective, because you said you like to teach. Now, what do you exactly when you teach? Is it a particular subject?
Yeah, now I teach elementary school children, like the sixth grade now, actually. I do that only 2 days part time, but I used to do that at international schools full time.
Oh, wow.
So I was full time working as a homeroom teacher. You know, you teach language, math, science, social, emotional education, and we had also a lot of subject teachers. That's what I did in Istanbul, especially. Now I do it 2 days in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. But when I was growing up, I didn't really travel that much. The only travel was actually there was a huge travel. My street, in my street, I lived in an immigrant neighborhood with a lot of Turkish, Moroccan, Polish, Somalian, other people. And I also went to a school with, if we had one native Dutch students, that was an exception. Like, hey, you have a Dutch student in class, because we were all immigrants and we were living in this public housing. So, everyone was together. And all my family from Turkey, they moved in the 60s, 70s to Europe, to the Netherlands, France, Germany, and Belgium. But they came all during summers to Turkey. So when I went in summers to Turkey to taste the Turkish culture, I had my French speaking cousins, German speaking cousins,
Right.
Belgium cousins. And it was always like different cultures, and they brought things in from their culture. Yeah, it was always, I had these different cultures around me, which was nice in a way. It was also like, that was the way I just grew
Right.
up. I didn't think about that. But it also had, of course, challenging things, especially I think living in the Netherlands, living in a household that is like fully Turkish. Everything is Turkish. Also, the traditional way of the Turkish. My parents are from a very small village in Turkey, and education is in Dutch. People outside, not only the street, like, this is the Dutch culture. And the discrepancy between the Dutch Western culture and my parents' culture from this village was huge.
Right.
Like, and I found myself a lot in, I said initially, identity crisis, but like, who am I? What am I going to do this situation? What am I going to do here? I didn't understand. Like, one very easy sample could be my mom was dressing us like very warm, you know, the scarves went around our mouth, it's cold outside. Then I came to school and my teacher said like, take off that, it's too hot.
Right, for you, it was right. For your mother, it was super cold, right?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
I have, we're similar in a way that I mentioned just real briefly, I was raised in the South by a French mother and they ate different down in the South, and my mother made most, like oysters and, and things like that. I'm also part Vietnamese, right? So
Mm,
that's a culture too that was my grandfather was French and my grandmother was Vietnamese. So we had that issue too. That's kind of I wanted to talk to you because we have something similar, even though I was raised in the United States, a little different than you, but I did have to deal with a different culture. My mother, by the way, lived in Morocco because her father was in the French army, that kind of thing. So she had quite a journey. And just like you, I love that you're sharing your story because I think it makes you more empathetic and seeing everybody's different perspective because we're all different. And I think you're open to that.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Yes. You know, the fact that you grew up in the States, I grew up here, or any other Greek person grew up in, I know, Czech Republic. The characters are different, the countries are different, but it's kind of very similar experience. You are
yes,
somewhere, you do belong, and maybe not.
yes,
And you know, you choose like each moment. You know, what am I now, or where am I gonna go, and how do I act?
I
And
agree
you
with
also
that.
build really resilience with that. That was what I
Yes,
have
that's
experienced.
probably where the resilience comes from, being standing out and being different. And I was asked a lot growing up, what was I? Because I'm a human. Because I think the Asian, so came out when I had the only one in my family that I'm at my level, my generation, have the Vietnamese eyes. You can't tell probably on this video, but
You can.
right. I was trying to, I just not be offended. So I just joke, say, I'm a human just like you. It's what I would say. And I think that's where I didn't want to, I learned to deal with I just didn't say I was bullied. I don't know if you were, but sometimes I was because of that. But it just made me a stronger person because it was a resilient situation. And I think I like communicating and talking to people. And it sounds like that's what you're doing. You're just sharing your story. And so let's jump to your book, The Student. So
Yeah.
what prompted you to do that?
So we talked a lot about also the richness about growing up these cultures, right?
Yes.
Like you can be easily empathetic towards someone else that you actually don't know because you have gone through some situations. For me, Brigitte, it was, I grew up, you know, one of the things I was thinking about, what were my dinner conversations while growing up? We didn't really have one, you know. We maybe talked about the food, it's good or that, or and more maybe technical things like, okay, we need to sleep and we need to go to school tomorrow, this and that. But there was not that much openness in how we really feel.
Right. I
and
get
and
the feeling.
and
Yeah.
I don't want to like generalize this is a Turkish culture or something, but it was at least in our household and many other households in my surroundings with a Turkish background. There was not that much room, and I internalized a lot of things in me. Like for me, my diaries became my biggest friends. I wrote in my diaries the way I felt, and I also felt I needed that a lot. And every feeling was allowed. So and along the way of, you know, I am 36 years old now. I wrote a lot initially about how things in my surrounding, people, but also situations, had a huge effect on my development, but maybe in a negative way. Like, you know, yeah, because of my parents dies, because of this situation, this, you know, it was for me, I was an automatic pilot of pointing to situations and people. I did not do it straight, like that I said, hey, it's because of you, but internal I felt it that way, right?
Right.
So, and then I studied pedagogical science, and when I was studying that, I really got interest about human behavior. How do we behave, and why do we behave? And that turned into spirituality. And I read the book of Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. And after that, A New Earth. Do you know A New Earth from Eckhart Tolle, the book?
No, but the other one you mentioned, I'm familiar with.
Yeah, The Power of Now is his first, as far
Yeah.
as I know. And A
Yeah.
New Earth he wrote later on. And in that book, one particular paragraph stood with me, and that was like, the things that we see in others, the judgments, most of them, what we see that because it might also be in us.
Ah,
And that's why we see it. If you want, if you would like, I have actually even the paragraph here.
oh
I can
yeah,
read from
that'd
it.
be
Would you
great.
like
Read that.
that?
Yes, please. That'd be great.
Okay. He says in A New Earth, page 74, the particular egoic patterns that you react to most strongly in others and misperceive as their identity tend to be the same patterns that are also in you, but that you are unable or unwilling to detect within yourself. In that sense, you have much to learn from your enemies. What is it in them that you find most upsetting, most disturbing? Their selfishness, their greed, their need for power and control, their insincerity, dishonesty, propensity to violence, or whatever it may be. Anything that you resent and strongly react to in another is also in you. But it's not more than a form of ego, and as such, it is completely impersonal. It has nothing to do with who that person is, nor has it anything to do with you, who you are. Only if you mistake it for who you are, can observing it within you be threatening to your sense of self.
Wow.
So this line,
Powerful.
extremely powerful, and I thought I'm gonna write about my journey of who am I. I'm gonna discover who I am, and I want to know who I am beside all the external noise that I make there, you know?
Right.
And traveling and living in two other countries than the Netherlands, one was in Istanbul, Turkey, the other one Denmark, made me connect through with different people. And during these connections, I realized a lot of things about who I am. And it wasn't like we are going to have a class now, but during an interaction, any situation with them. And that's why how the student came alive. I write in this book about 13 happened stories in different countries where I was living or maybe traveling, and what each conversation made me recognize about myself. Because when I knew, for example, that I'm not actually kind while I think I am kind, maybe it's a selfish thing, you know, that I want to achieve. I got my power back by writing this book, by seeing also my darker sides. I got my power back. I was like, I'm the one that is creating this reality. That
Ah,
means I can create anything, what I want, what I really want.
that's awesome. I mean, I've never really thought of it from that perspective, right? You're creating it, your reality. Really? That's kind of what you're saying. And the stories. So are they stories from all throughout your life, or or just mostly as an adult, you know?
So it is a very little introduction of the way I grew up, but
Okay.
then it is more between 2008
Okay.
and 2019, 11
Gotcha.
years time. And that was actually the time I left my parents' house.
You learned a lot when you're on your own, right?
I thought it was always my dad which stopped me, or my mom which stopped me of doing things with their behavior. And then I was like, oh my God, it's me. I just really faced myself. And, you know, people would do it is too in another technique, similar way. It's not always easy. You face yourself in the mirror, and but I decided, few years ago, 10, 11 years ago, like, instead of going through my life as not being me, whatever it takes, I'm going to go through my life with being me, whatever that takes. I don't mind. So
I
yeah.
like that. I like that. You probably had the same situation or being told what I had to do, right? And when I went out on my own, I was 21, right? It was hard at first, but then it was freeing. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
didn't have someone telling me what to do. Maybe that I don't know why I wanted to be independent. I think because I was a military brat too. Do you know what I'm saying? Being growing up around the military, so it was
Yeah.
really a lot of um, you didn't see your father a lot, so that was hard. So that affected probably some insecurities, right? Never seeing you don't know when you're going to see your dad. Um, but
What
you're
uh, what did you feel then? What was the feeling when you not
yeah,
see your
I
dad?
probably like where's my dad? Why did he abandon us? But I didn't understand as a child he was in the military. That was his job. You know what I'm saying? It's like he doesn't care. That's kind of probably what I was thinking. And I I didn't act out. I always behaved properly. I think because I was the middle child. So I was the bridge. I think you talked about I was the bridge between my older sibling and my younger sibling, right?
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of I don't know if you have siblings, but I think your position in the family is that the right word
Yeah.
affects your your perception of life. So I was always the taking care of things,
Yeah.
which maybe I did because my father was never around. You know what I'm saying? And I felt
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had to help. I had to help my mom somehow. And well, it's very therapeutic talking to you, but that's kind of what it is. And like, why did I want to take care of everybody? Right. And I think because my mom, even though she was married, she basically was kind of in a way single mom because she didn't get, you know what I'm saying, support.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's everybody's situation is different, but I'm at least I took it. I try to make something better out of it instead of acting out. Some people act out. Maybe in a way, I was involved in sports a lot. That was my way of taking my first. I was involved a lot in the. I well, there's a here in the United States. There's a thing about Title IX for women getting in sports. They wanted women to be able to go to college and do, and that's when it just helped me. I think the frustration that probably what I was holding inside. Why have all this freaking responsibility? I'm 16 years old, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's why I did the sports, running and gymnastics, and my coaches uh, were very helpful to me. I really think that was helpful. And then I think just being involved with the team, it was
Mm-hmm.
helped me. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
I had other people helping me rather than me doing it. You should be a psychologist. This is good.
So, I'm not a yeah, I'm
You should
educated
be.
as a child psychologist, but no, I'm a coach. I'm
Uh,
a coach.
that's good.
I can make you get through your limiting beliefs, because I had so many, many, many,
Right?
and I still have. I think that maybe are transparent that I don't know of, but what I have learned, Brigitte, like, that is my learning, and it might be for everyone something else. Life is throwing to us many situations, circumstances, peoples, even maybe, like, for example, a person that you have argument with, Eric, I don't know. If you don't deal with that moment, then another character with another name, or the same character with another name, will come to you, and you are dealing with the same identity. For me, what I have learned is, it's not about what is happening, it's more about how you react to things.
Right. Yeah.
And I used to react a lot on but it's that. But this person said no, no, but but my parents, but this friend, but this ex, but this blah 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 blah, blah, blah. And then I thought, but I cannot change that person, but I can change the way I react to it. But in order to change, first I really had to own my darker sides myself. No one needed to know. The book, I in this book is edited many times. It's maybe a quarter of what I have written. You don't need to write a book to tell that. For me, I thought it will inspire other people to do similar self-examination. But write it in your journal, meditate on it. Just if there's a situation with someone, and that situation, it's a two-person situation. It's like a tango is done by two, not by one.
Right.
You cannot change the step that person has taken, but you can change the step you take for next time.
Right. That's true.
And and that's what my purpose is, or what I am working on that. And I'm not talking about be harsh to yourself. What did I do wrong today? No, own it. But if you know these things, what you do, you can then say, okay, next time when she reacts this way, which is really triggering me, which makes me feel sad, feel my pain, I'm going to pause. I'm
Right.
going to pause, let it in. And I used to think, who are you to tell me these things? My ego. And then I leave. I'm like, something is going on with her or with him. I'm leaving.
Right. They'll have to, they have to want to figure it out. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
You can't force, should say force, that's the wrong word. But right, you have to just help them see that they need, maybe in a way, like you said, pausing and just stepping away will help them realize that, why did she do that?
Yeah.
Right. And hopefully they're open to that. And I think a lot of people are frustrated too, for some reason. They need to figure out what is frustrating them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things we can't control.
Yeah. And the beauty is, Brigitte, when you do it more with yourself, you also get much more understanding towards other people.
Right. The empathy.
Because you feel, oh, I'm also being sometimes really this person.
Right.
And then you get compassion towards the other person, like he or she is also a human being,
Right.
No human being is made perfect and even strives for perfectionism. Or maybe there are, but I don't believe in that. Like,
right. I used to be one of my issues in the past. I wanted everything to be perfect. And I think that's because I viewed how, my mom would look, you know what I'm saying? And I think that was, I've gotten, I don't know if you do the Seth Godin alt MBA thing, but I did that. And
no, I did not.
But I did that in the podcast thing. That's kind of why I'm doing this now. But gosh, why am I so focused on perfectionism? Because that holds you back too. And I think we all, what I think is not what I've seen, I don't know too much, is this people like canceling, what they call it, the cancel culture. I don't know if you hear that over there.
What do you mean by that?
Cancel culture here in the US, people are calling out if you made a mistake in the past and they're bad mouthing you for it publicly. I think that's wrong because we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
And trust me, I have too, but like you mentioned, learn from that. And I think I'm thankful you don't having to see that over there. Or that's one of the things, like, what do you call it? Social media here. I don't get on social media that much because I see a lot of negativity. I try to stay away from negative stuff because I think then it'll make you think negative things. And I try to look in what's the good out of this that could come out of this situation. That's what I try to see, because bad things happen.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting. You should look that up. Cancel culture.
Cancel or cancer?
Cancel. CANCEL.
Okay. Cancel culture. Okay.
Cancel culture. That's happening here. there are people are judging people from the past. And I'm just, thank goodness there was social media was not around when I was 20. You know what I'm saying? Because they're posting stuff that whatever could
A-
come back and
And they
haunt
do
them.
it on social media. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Here in the US, how's that?
Yeah.
So that's what they, it just, I've always been, like I pause before I repeat because of my business background, you want to be remembered in a positive manner. That's just me. And so I'm known for being honest, but I will say it in a nice way if I need to, give you some feedback. But I think that's just my nature for some reason, which is good. So I try to, like I said, stay away from negative stuff. So that is, I think the people are afraid now here in the US to speak out for certain things because of this cancel culture we have.
So they
Um,
might use it one day against you.
yes, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
And like so and so said this, oh my gosh, 15 years ago, and it's like, their life is different now. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it was different then. And my thing is, I try not to be I try not to be opinionated because I think my mom was just because she was trying to help me be a better person. You know what I'm saying? Their opinions, just, I'm sure I've spewed opinions to my sons, right? But it can be, like you said, it's best to pause and reflect before you do or say anything because it can affect, other people.
And
And
to take it maybe even a step further, this cancel culture, I never heard about this term actually. Might happen here too. I don't know.
right,
Maybe I'm not that much involved in social media. I post things, but I don't scroll that much.
me either, right.
But I had lately a chat with a friend of mine about this area because I had some people around me that know me for such a long time, and two of them they said like, but we know how you are, and they know me. They know me very well for such a long time, eh? And then I found myself just checking in with myself, which I do almost every evening. Like, what I found myself trying to convince them that I have changed. Like, for example, I don't know, one person, let me just not give a name, he said something, and I was like, but that was the me when I was 15 or 18,
Correct.
20 or something. But then my friend said to me, maybe you should just ask yourself, why do you feel the need to convince them that
Correct.
you have changed? And if
Right.
you look at that feeling, if you feel through that feeling, what is it? And then I got it. I felt like insecure. I was like, they don't see me. These were the feelings that I care. They don't see me. They don't know. They don't recognize how I do great work. They don't recognize this. So I felt
It's something with them
I
then.
need
Right.
confirmation from them, the two
Yeah.
people that are
Yeah.
very important to them. And when I touched upon that feeling, I could free myself from I need confirmation from them.
Right. And it's just, don't worry about what others think of you, which is
Yeah.
important because you can't control it. Doesn't matter what you do. But I think I don't scroll at all on most social media, but I've read some articles about this. I'm like, I had to look it up. What is cancel culture? Right. Because I'm older, so I don't have to, thankfully, like I said, I don't have a history on social media when I was younger, but it is happening to the younger people now, those that are in their 20s and things like that. But that's just people are trying to figure out how to use things properly. And I try to use things more in a positive manner, just like with my podcast here. It was to try to share stories, things about resilience, because we're all dealing with something, right? We all have, and you're good, you're okay. That's kind of really what you're going to be okay. It's kind of how I look at it. And I've had, health issues and stuff like that, but I've had good support from the right people,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of, to me, I don't want to live in a bubble. That's why, but you still want to surround yourself with supportive people.
And you but also most very importantly, you accepted that support.
Yes.
Don't forget that. There's
Yes.
still that tango that you are part of it. You accept the support.
Yes, you have, right. And it just makes them feel better too, right? They want to reach out, and it's just like a I don't know. I love talking to new people. That's just my personality. I think you're the same. That's probably why we're both podcasting, because we get to talk to new people and we get to learn new things. And I'm definitely open to looking at your book, The Student, because that's what life is. You're a student in life, right? And
it's here. You can look at it.
Yeah, there you go. I think and I kind of think you're like another, sister from another mother. You're just in a different country because you have a similar background. Why that's kind of probably why I connected with you. It's all you got to be open, and at the same time pause before you react, right? And that's the safest way to move forward. I shouldn't say the word safe, but you know what I'm saying.
But it is actually super simple. Even our school teacher said it, like count to 10 and then. But maybe we didn't understand why do we need to do that?
Correct. They didn't explain it.
Really understand, like it makes you think more clear.
Yes.
See the things in clarity.
I like that. Yeah.
But that is actually more difficult than, like, for example, when you walk on the street, there's someone really uses cuss words to you, really upset. And people might think, I'm just going to be brave and just go there and say whatever, do whatever. Right. But actually, the strong part is strong mental. Do not react.
Yes.
Do not allow that energy to come in your aura. Don't. Why?
Yes. Right.
And let the person think whatever he wants to think.
Right.
That's his or her thing.
Yeah, people are just they're having I think more people need to meditate, and they need to do deep breathing. We don't know what that person had to deal with before they started cussing at you, you just don't know. And I try not to blame people for the reaction, but like you said, you can control how you're reacting. You can control your rest of your day.
Definitely. Actually, you say it's a really good. I listened to your first episode, the 5 minutes. That you said about do a challenge of 30 days. Appreciate everything of your day, and I was like, wow, how wonderful is that? Appreciate everything for 30 days, whatever happens.
Yes, it's true. And a lot of this came to me because I feel like I mentioned healthy. I've dealt with cancer several times and the brain tumor. And that definitely puts, when you're dealing with that, front and center, what's important to you. And I was always on the go on a corporate job. And, I'm like, that's not really what I truly wanted, and it was, like I said, the support system that I had. And you need to appreciate. Just one of the things I try to do what inspires you, right? Rather than what inspires other people. You need to figure out what inspires you too. So,
because when you know that, you are ready to inspire other people.
Yes.
With you. We're not expecting any other person be around. Nee, it's you.
Yes.
Nee, I said it in Dutch. Nee.
Nee. I'm trying to think I almost said the German nine. Sorry.
Yeah, it is similar. This is nee.
It's a little similar, but yeah, to going back, just growing up, I had a great background, just like you did. I really, truly appreciate having that multicultural background now, because it is why I am who I am today. Just like you, right? We just need to appreciate all that. So where can people learn more about you, and where can they get your book? Can you tell us your website?
Yeah, of course. My website is, let me spell it for you. Özkan Ozlem. It is in I think maybe will you put it in the episode notes?
Yes, I will.
ozlem.com. They can also find me on LinkedIn with the same name, on what is it? Not WhatsApp, on Instagram, same Ozkan Ozlem.
Okay.
I blog daily, and they can find it on my website, the Bridging Podcast. That's where I make my podcast.
And her
Yeah.
name is spelled Ozlem Ozkan. And I will put that in the notes for this episode. And I truly appreciate you taking the time. And it's just talking to people like you just gives me so much energy. And,
Thank
and
you so much having me, Brigitte.
yes, I hope everyone has a great day and learns something from this.
I
Take
hope
care.
so.
Take care. All right,
Take
bye.
care.